3 months, I'm going to do everything I can to keep America.
All right, then. Let's see. Going this route to get to meet to my father's house quick corner. It is currently 407. As I was saying before I was so really interrupted by my app dying, UTAP app saying, no, I need to load, restart. Normally, it takes me 35 to 40 minutes to reach my father's house going down Hurstbourne from where I work down into Jefferson Town. Today, I'm taking the route I mentioned I was going to take on Monday, which is basically going like I'm going to go home, then instead go towards my father's house. Started this voyage at 4:07 p.m. For all intents and purposes, I should reach my father's house if I gone the normal way at about 4:37 to 4:40. I'm hoping I can reach my dad's house by no later than 4:22 going this way. We'll see. We'll see what to do.
Okay, we're going to take a closer look now at that rare win for labor in Missouri. Here to talk more about the vote's implications is Jake Rosenfeld. He's an expert on organized labor who teaches at Washington University in St. Louis. Welcome.
Well, thanks for having me on.
First, can you just start us off and explain very basically what exactly was on the ballot last night?
Sure. So last night was a proposition that would have granted workers in unionized workplaces the option to not pay any union dues, despite the fact that unions are on the hook to pay for the cost of representation. So it's a so-called right-to-work measure.
Okay, so just so I understand, as a result of this vote, that means that private sector unions can force non-members to pay certain fees, which is the status quo already.
Exactly.
Okay.
All yesterday's vote does is restore the status quo.
Okay. How strong are unions in Missouri?
Not strong at all. In fact, fewer than 1 in 10 workers in Missouri currently belongs to a union, and that's down from about 1 in 4 workers back in the early 1980s, and that's down from where it was at the union's heyday in the 1950s and 1960s.
But unions clearly have a lot of political support in the state, or I mean, that's how this vote's being read. The law was decisive mercifully struck down by a 2-to-1 margin. What does a margin like that tell us?
I think it shows substantial and wide support for organized labor among non-union workers. So about 4 times as many people voted against this measure as there are union members in the entire state of Missouri. And that right there is like a pretty stunning victory for organized labor going forward.
And why do you think so many non-union members helped vote down this law? Because, I mean, theoretically, they would stand to benefit from this law because this law would make it so you can't be forced to pay dues if you're not a member of the union.
So I think it's a great question. I think that organized labor throughout the campaign was able to convince non-union workers that right to work really hurts all workers, union and non-union alike.
How so? What was the logic?
Oh, I think the logic was an argument that as unions decline, so too do wages and working conditions for workers, union and non-union alike. And there's good evidence to back that up, that unions are kind of pace setters out there establishing wage levels and working conditions that union and non-union employers come to adopt.
I want to put last night's vote into context because
The question becomes, do I actually want to get onto the expressway? Or do I just want to take the way through the J-Town Industrial Park to get to my dad's house? I think I'm going to take the back way because if I hop on the expressway, there's a chance I'm going to hit a weird rush hour segment that will have to sit and stop for a little bit. So I'm going to take this weird back way, get up my dad's house,
Yeah, I think that's a great question.
Get the,
what this victory means, we can
a
say
video
for certain, is that,
adapter
we've seen encouraging signs of
that he has for me,
gaining popular support, and that's
and
especially
head back to the
but they face setback
my
after
house.
setback in the courts.
Plug in said video adapter, and then that way I have 3 monitors.
I think the broader
The only thing I'm missing now is like a
one of units in a very precarious place. This was a victory.
Oculus Rift VR setup. I mean, my system can do it, I just don't have the VR.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
The FBI arrested
And then I can
New York
sit there and
congressman today on charges
Well,
related
well,
to
stand there and play
Federal
VR
prosecutors
games
say Chris Collins illegally
like
shared inside
Beat Saber
information
and
about a pharmaceutical company. They say
punch
he's
music
trying to
blocks with my
others
fists.
avoid big losses when the company's signature drug failed a clinical trial. NPR's Scott Horsley reports. Chris Collins, a Republican who represents the suburbs around Buffalo, is one of the wealthiest members in Congress. And for years, he's been a major investor in an Australian biotech firm called Indie Immunotherapeutics. So it was a shock last summer when Collins got an email from the company's CEO saying a promising drug for multiple sclerosis, which was thought to be a blockbuster, had failed a clinical trial. Collins, sitting in the White House picnic at the time, quickly wrote back, "Wow, makes no sense. How are these results even possible?" And then, according to U.S. Attorney Jeff Berman, Collins made a fateful phone call to his son Cameron.
The crime that he committed was to tip his son Cameron so that Cameron and a few select others could trade on the news while the investing public remained in the dark.
4 days later, when news of the failed trial became public, the company's stock plunged by 92%. But by that time, Cameron Collins and several others he'd alerted had sold their shares, avoiding losses of more than $750,000. The congressman himself was unable to sell since his shares were held in Australia, where trading had been temporarily halted. But by tipping off his son, Berman said, Collins cheated both the markets and the justice system.
He placed his family and friends above the public good.
Berman says Collins, his son, and a third man compounded their crime by lying to investigators. The congressman's attorneys issued a statement denying any wrongdoing, promising a vigorous defense to clear Collins' good name.
It's happy to go right there,
Securities Exchange Commission
but that doesn't really get you where I want to be as quickly. However, if I go straight here,
and House Speaker Paul
It'll
Ryan
put me
called for an ethics
on the other side where I want to be pretty quickly.
temporarily strip Collins of his seat on the powerful Energy and Commerce Committee. Craig Holman, watchdog group Public Citizen, says Collins is the first member of Congress to face charges related to insider trading, even though lawmakers are privy to all kinds of inside information and have the power to make market-moving decisions. Holman points to an Horsley, NPR News, Washington.
You're listening to All Things Considered from NPR News.
Support for 89.3 WFPL comes from Brown Foreman, a proud supporter of the Kentucky Humane Society. More on their Tuxes and Tales event August 11th at kyhumane.org from Commonwealth Theater Center, offering acting, improv, and playwriting for ages 5 to 18 in the Walden Theater Conservatory. Hosting an information session August 29th, no audition or experience required. Details at 589-0084 or commonwealththeater.org.
Good afternoon. You're listening to All Things Considered on the 89.3 WFPL. I just noticed, as we continue, more than 70 people were shot in Chicago last weekend, and yet the city doesn't have the highest homicide rate in the United States. NPR's Ari Shapiro talks with Harvard Kennedy School's Thomas Abt about the
From here, I have a couple options routes, but I'm going to go the way that gives me stuck behind less civil trucks.
Dr. John Bird is the Chief Department of Defense Scientist.
This may encounter a situation where they're waiting to make a turn and I can't go because they're in front of me.
Coming up within 15 minutes.
Our future is only as strong as your support. Join the Legacy Society and make a gift for future generations. Name Louisville Public Media in your will or estate, or as a beneficiary on your retirement account. It's never too early to plan. Visit louisvillepublicmedia.org/legacy.
If I got right there, that probably would be best.
Some American sanctions on Iran have, as the White House likes to say,
You know,
snapped back. Still to come.
We'll see.
Iranian oil. And then what happens? That's next time on Marketplace.
You can find Marketplace later today at 6:30 on 89.3 WFPL. It is 4:20.
420, wherever they go, they're gonna go to
Support for
420.
NPR comes from this station and from Indeed, used by over 3 million businesses for hiring, where employers can post jobs and use screener questions to help their short list of preferred candidates. Learn more at Indeed.com/hiring.
Kid sister,
From Long
kid
Beach,
sister,
the collaborative meeting platform with over 18 million monthly users.
and then movie Chucky
Designed to
based off
people
my
from
movie.
anywhere in the world on any device. Learn more at GoToMeeting.com. And from listeners like you who donate.
Listeners like
to our
me.
station.
I donated to
This is All Things Considered for
FPL once,
I'm Ari Shapiro.
And I'm Elsie
20
King.
years ago.
Almost a year ago,
Gave them $5.
chaos erupted in Charlottesville, Virginia. The Unite the Right rally brought white supremacist and white nationalist groups out of the shadows and into prominent view. And what followed is hard to forget. Clashes with police.
There used to be no
clashes
straight
with
route there for a long
protesters and
time. You just had to go
counter-protesters,
right here.
violence, and the death of a young woman. The fallout from that event has caused changes to the white nationalist movement. And to understand those changes, we turn now to Heidi Byrick at the Southern Poverty Law Center. She has long tracked white supremacy, nativist, and neo-Confederate movements as she oversees a yearly count of the nation's haters. Heidi Byrick, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
From what you've been seeing,
Oh man, so I got my laptop finally went to sleep. It's only been disconnected for 15 minutes, you
Well,
know.
for the particular organizations,
I can't change the timer on it because it's locked down by IT.
It's been a
Ooh,
pretty
Monica, what they
rough
got
year.
there?
They've lost
Ooh, they got
PayPal
fish.
accounts, Facebook
Let me go check
pages.
them out.
There's been extreme infighting in the movement. Some of the major figures have abandoned things like Richard Spencer. He's no longer in his college speaking tour. But overall, there's still a lot of energy in white supremacy in the United States, and that's very much indicated by, for example, the massive bullying war this past weekend.
How are they trying to get around some of those obstacles? For instance, you said they lost PayPal accounts. Are they able to fundraise at the same level despite
There's
that?
a gun store over here.
I think the loss
They have some
of
good
the PayPal
guns.
accounts was probably the
I like
most
them a lot.
damaging thing that happened for white supremacists in the last year. And they're basically stuck using things like Bitcoin that are hard to, convert into cash.
What about litigation? I know that some lawsuits have been filed against various groups over the past year. Have legal bills set them back as well?
There's no question bills have been an issue. Roberta Kaplan, who is a lawyer in New York, has brought a massive civil suit against a bunch of the leaders who were at Unite the Right last year in Charlottesville and the organizations, and that lawsuit is moving forward. The city of Charlottesville did something similar. So there are also the legal bills to consider, which have been really painful for those involved.
Despite these setbacks, I mean, Charlottesville did bring a ton of attention to these groups. There's been so much discussion about what these groups stand for, and I'm just curious, is any publicity?
I have two ways you can do this. I can go straight or right. I'm gonna go right.
I think that there's a lot of truth to that. We know that in the days after Charlottesville, a lot of immigrants showed up.
This allows me to avoid getting down to town.
We also know that there are people, like I said, rallying on the West Coast in large numbers, and web readership that's huge. We have places like Gab that are infested, basically with all kinds of hate material. So I don't think the white supremacist movement is, significantly hampered by the fall.
There used to be no stop sign here. This was just a straight through, and the people coming from the left were the ones required to stop at all times. Of getting stopped by that light back on Dorsey and Shelbyville, which added probably about 6 minutes to my overall time. I would have been here in 15 minutes. I more than cut the time in half that it takes to get to my father's house from work by going this route. Wish I'd known this when I used to actually live out here, because I would have avoided all that traffic, saved so much time and gas and effort years ago.
Under a sweeping new policy announced in June, Attorney General Jeff Sessions says domestic abuse and gang violence should generally not be considered grounds for asylum claims.
Asylum was never meant to alleviate all problems, even all serious problems, that people face every day all over the world.
In a statement, a spokesman for the Department of Justice says most victims of personal crime do not qualify for asylum. Quote, no matter how vile and reprehensible
See y'all later.